Alright, time to have some fun. Sculpey. Alright. I haven't really released a video for you in a while. I've been working on my online school, and then I got into several events, and I've been, like selling stuff at events. So I am now free of events, and I finished my school, and now I get to play. So what I want to do is cover a topic that is always asked at events by people that are interested in electroforming. They're like, well, can you do Sculpey? And I was like, yeah, you can do Sculpey, no problem. But I don't want to cover electroforming today. I want to play. So what we're going to do is first play with how to make really deep texture, okay? And how to build tools with Sculpey that you can use in your workflow that allow you to get really cool textures, so you can add that texture to your electroforming. Okay, so let's look at tools, let's have some fun, and here's the video. Alright, the first thing we're going to need is wood. I use cedar for this, only because if you put it in the oven, hey, you get a double effect. You can smell it if it burns, and if it does burn, it smells good. So I use a piece of cedar instead of glass for this part. Okay, we're going to make a texture palette. Okay, in order to make a texture palette, you're going to need like Bacon Bond or this. I like this better, though, for what I'm doing right now. This is amazing stuff. This, however, is a little bit thinner and easier to spread. Okay. Sweet. So you just you kind of want to have a consistency across the whole thing. Alright, now we're going to need things that can survive about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so one of the things is desiccant balls. Okay, you can get this stuff. It's silica, and it can survive a great deal of heat. Okay, so I'm just going to dribble some silica on here. And then just kind of move them around so this spaces them out. Kind of weird. You want a pretty big area. And then thin it out as you go. So it's like more dense on this side and then goes to a less dense on that side. Glass beads. These are for weighted blankets. I use this a lot as far as the media is concerned for texture. So on the other side of this, I'm just going to dribble on some of these with the same intention of getting it smaller on one side. This is these little tiny rocks, and I can't use these because they're just too freaking small in anything I do, so I'm going to be adding those to the center here. Alright, I'm going to go bake this at 275 degrees for 15 minutes. Alright, so here's one I made earlier. You can see how you have these glass spheres, the silica, and I had some crushed up rocks. So while the other one bakes, I can use this one for example. Again, this is Sculpey Firm. Super Sculpey Firm. So, this is a tool. The most valuable tool in your arsenal of sculptiness. This is called the Walnut Hollow. I have the largest opening round for this example. I'm going to shove some Sculpey Firm in there. And we're going to just extrude some tool. Alright, so take your any cutter, you use an X-Acto knife or whatever, and cut about 1.5 inches off. And we're going to just kind of squish it down onto a piece of glass. Keep squishing. And then just wiggle. Now you have this. Sweet. So I'm going to make a couple of those. Talcum powder. Now when using this stuff, please use a respirator mask. Talcum powder is really bad for you, to be honest with you. I don't know how people in the 50s survived using this stuff. How did the babies not get this in their lungs? So I'm using a brush here, and I'm just pounding talcum powder onto this thing. And this will loosen all the rocks that didn't really get all the way in. Okay. Well, it didn't need much. It just needed to get the little areas in the back where it could get sticky. Alright, so take this and just push it into it. Wiggle it, and you get this amazing detail. And then you can take other parts of it, and let's say there's some space. See that larger one right there? Okay, we don't really want that because it'll form a pattern. So every once in a while I might take this bigger sphere or it over onto the coarser side of things and press it lightly, and you can see that it gets rid of that. And then you want to roll the outside edge. And basically we're making that right there. Alright, so here's a couple I made earlier. And let's say I want some texture in here. Okay, there's that one. Just like that. And then you can mix the two together too. It's let's say I make big bumps and then put little bumps on top of it. So you can really intermix the two. The point is, it's really coarse texture, and that's what you're going to need if you follow me in the progress of this. We're also going to reverse the process. So take and extrude out two more. Okay, so basically coat the top surface with Bacon Bond. And then dribble on whatever media that you want. In this case, I really do like these silica gels. Alright, so here is the results of the desiccant balls. Hey, what's that? There's a fear of holes in something, I forget what it is, but it's a real phobia. Yeah, very sweet. So you can see the indent right there, right? That little thing. That's a good indication that I needed maybe two more on the edge or something like that. So it doesn't do that. Okay, so that's if you see an indent kind of like appear on the outside edge, you can either do that or you can file off this outside edge. So just a tip. Here's one that has the small glass, and you can see that I had the stuff all the way to the edge, and I can roll it around. Nice. Well, anyway, that is how you make really freaking sweet stamps for clay using epoxy clay, Sculpey. As you might have guessed, this does not limit your imagination to, just texture palettes. But these little tools can be made for just about anything that's around your house too. Rocks, bark, whatever. So don't limit yourself to thinking that you have to, make a texture palette every time for things. Like it could be maybe, it could be a piece of kyanite, for example, and you want to pick up that texture. And you get that. So this is where the talcum powder really comes in, because you can really press into something with the talcum powder and have it not get stuck in the form. And then just kind of bend back the edges. So it's kind of like a mushroom. So that's a way to capture any really detail of the house. Just look for textures and you can make stamps for just about everything.